There's and I was raised in something similar to that, yeah, where it's like we keep our family issues within the family. We don't discuss them outside of that.
And now
Yeah.
you're on a podcast.
Now I'm on a podcast talking about it. And I know myself too, and I know my and again, here's some of that duality. Like I think I'm sure that I'm talking about some of this because of the fact that it was such a you can't talk about this at all. And it's like, well, actually, I'm sure there's some of that in there too for me, where it's just like that. But well, and vice versa. I mean, James, you too are talking about your family stuff in some ways. So it's an interesting thing there. I remember too, like just to kind of riff on what you said there quickly, like there was a moment I was down in Florida visiting my brother, him and his lovely wife. And it was one of those family events where it was like for whatever reason we all kind of ended up on a family vacation, you know. So I was there, my brother and his wife, and my two other sisters and their husbands were there. And there was just a moment where, for whatever reason, just conversation went to they each talked about how they met and kind of shared that. And then they got to me, and my brother just changed the subject. And it's that thing where it's again that has an impact on me, like that has an impact as a gay man where it's just like it's been really a struggle for me in life. I'm in my 40s now, and it's been a struggle for me to learn how to share my story and that it's valid. Like I appreciate that you're having me on. I appreciate that people are listening and that this matters because again, to that sort of family thing that thing that I grew up in where it was like this is shameful for you to even exist. I'm here to say that I'm not. No, it's been a journey, but yeah, I feel like maybe society is reflecting some of that family stuff too, where we are talking about some of these things that haven't been. Yeah, for me, I know that for myself, like I said, there's some disappointment in decisions I've made over time, and one of them would be like, yeah, I feel like had I allowed myself to have more experiences as an adolescent and as a young guy in my 20s, dating, doing all the things, whatever. It's a bummer to me that I didn't allow that because there's a lot of missed of relationships. I feel like we learn a lot about ourselves. I'm sure you, James, have learned a lot about yourself in the relationships you've had with your wife, with, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just
Sure.
things that the expectation in my family was that, okay, well, you're gay. Well, you just won't ever act on that. We'll never speak about it. And you'll turn into like a monk or something. I don't know. It's like just an odd experience in that way.
So I have a lot of questions on your Podmatch profile, and I think we would get into a 90-minute conversation if I asked you all these questions. So I'm not going to ask those questions.
No
And
worries.
I want to give you like a 5-minute elevator speech where you can talk to my listening audience, specifically to parents and maybe even to adults that are male, female, whatever, and have identified as being gay. And I would like to give you an opportunity from your perspective to talk to parents on maybe a better way or the correct way or the healthy way, like we're talking emotional intelligence, right?
Here we are. Yeah.
How to those situations and how to continue to build healthy relationships because gay or not, they're still your children, right?
Right.
You know,
Right.
who knows? Maybe your child might come up to you and go, "Hey, I identify as a monkey, and now so I want to swing from trees and eat bananas for the rest of my life." And there's a lot of strange things out there, okay? And I'm not making
There
fun
are.
of that. I'm just saying that. So anyway, that's a whole new podcast episode, right?
that would I would recommend that you get them into therapy ASAP. No, I appreciate that, James, and I've shared pretty much what I wanted to too. So I appreciate you having me on here. But yeah, to that note, or to I did jot a couple of notes. I'm glancing at them here because I was thinking the same thing. Like, what is it that I want to say? I guess I'll just kind of repeat what I had kind of initially said, but it's as a parent, what kind of a relationship do you want with your kids, with your adult children too? And I know that takes that actually happens before they're adults. That happens before they're 18. You know, to my point about my dad, like it took asking me right off the bat, like, are you into girls? If you think that I'm not, maybe there's some emotional intelligence that you could use there. And like, wait a minute, how would I ask this question in a way? And am I okay with the
Well,
answer?
there's there's more to there's more to a relationship than sexual orientation, right?
Yes.
There's way more. We are a three-dimensional being, and they're physical, emotional, psychological, physiological, their mental health. There's a lot. We're very complicated. There's a lot to us, right?